Welcome back to Data Center News Asia. I am alone this week. I just spent the weekend with my in-laws and my new Singaporean family celebrating Singapore's 60th birthday. Doesn't she look wonderful? Not a day over 45. James is not here. He chose to spend the National Day in Greece with his family, which, before you get too jealous, those of you who know him will know that James has a predilection for sitting at the front of the plane. So traveling via, spare a thought for him traveling 16 hours via budget airline to Athens with 3 young children in tow. I think certainly cheered me up when I found that out. But we do have some data center news, and we do have some news relevant to Asia to come to you this week. So I'm going to start off with India. Let's start with India, shall we? So this is the news about Sify Infinite Spaces, which is the data center division of Sify. So Sify was one of India's first non-private ISPs, internet service providers, and they've been listed for a while. They are one of the first movers into the data center market in India, which is often the case with local domestic telco players. The data center arm is now planning an IPO, reported by Bloomberg. So do no comments directly from the company at this stage, or lots of speculation in the news story. They're looking for an IPO that would raise $500 million from the shares, and that would value the business at about $3 billion US. Now, just for context, Sify's data center arm is 24 sites total, according to the DCI database. Depending on how you categorize them, some of these are very small edge type sites, but they do have about a dozen of them which are in major metros, and they are now moving into larger AI facilities. Their total capacity is at the moment estimated to be around 125 according to DCI, and then there's some under development taking up to 200 megawatts as a platform. But they are building an AI campus in Chennai, which is a bit larger. So you have to dig into the details a lot to get where you get the valuation from on this. But this would be one of the first that we've seen pure play India platforms that have IPO'd. They have been, as you know, people like GDS and Chindata and Vianet, who have IPO'd as pure China platforms several years ago, NextDC in Australia. This would be an indicator of a new off-ramp for investors in the country, as well as a potential signal of trust in the Indian market for a successful event here. So this would be a good story to keep following and to look up and see how it goes. Let's go to Southeast Asia, where we've got news from China's Galaxy Data Center company. So Galaxy Data Center is the ex-China subsidiary of Huayin Technologies, although Galaxy itself is pretty international. I saw news reasonably recently that they've committed 260 megawatts to CoreWeave in Texas. So they're building some pretty substantial campuses and AI-ready facilities globally. They were co-investing with someone in one in London too. But this is in Thailand. So this is a cluster in Rayong, which is part of Thailand's Eastern Economic Corridor, the EEC, which is sort of outside Bangkok, strip down there. This project, they are saying, will cost $2 billion to build, or that's what the investment is. They haven't specified the number of megawatts that will be. The project does also include a solar PV plant on site. And so this would be pretty substantial, comes through. Good to see the integration of renewables on site. We know Thailand's a market where there's several customers looking for quite different requirements. And I'll have to go with the other two stories now, which are in South Korea. So let's start with DCI. So DCI here, this was actually kind of Summit to send us the press release for this one. Just a little bit ahead of time to have a read. So DCI and Koramco, which is the Korean asset management company, are developing a 40 megawatt data center in Amsterdam. So DCI Data Centers, not to be confused with DCI Indonesia. This is the Australian DCI Data Centers. So they are backed by Brookfield. They have assets in around Australia, several assets around Australia, and they also have sites being developed in Auckland. And of course, they were one of the few Western operators to successfully get up and running during the initial kind of sprint for Korea and the subsequent challenges and power constraints in that market. So this would be their second facility in Korea, and this would be a 40 megawatt facility. And I actually haven't got where their first one is on the map to make a comparison, but their first one is 20 megawatts. So this would be a significant uplift in capacity for them, but nothing out of the trend that we're seeing everywhere. To be honest, like everything is getting much bigger with every new story. There's another story from Korea. This is from this I guess different end. DCI is a pure play sort of private equity developer. We're looking at here at SK Telecom, which is the major telcos reinventing themselves as digital infrastructure platforms, this time with some GPU compute on tap to add. So SK Telecom's launching a GPU as a service operator. This is the leading Korean mobile operator, SK. They do have several other data centers around the country, as well as some pretty large facilities too. And they're also building, they're working with other organizations to build a sovereign AI infrastructure in the company. The platform's name is, I'm going to get in trouble for pronouncing this, but it's Hain. And this is a domestic GPU as a service type AI platform. So they will be also deploying the supposed open source Lambda platform in this data center. But this is going to be using NVIDIA chips. And this is, GPU as a service is something we're seeing in when I first read this story, I kind of thought this was going to be similar to like a sustainable metal cloud, but it looks probably more akin to the sort of model that we're seeing deployed by the likes of CoreWeave. And this would be, this would again be another indicator of broadening out the domestic and local customer base. So these potential off-takers for data centers using ever-increasing amounts of compute in various different forms. It's not longer just the major public cloud providers who you have to satisfy and sell to. And actually with that in mind, so next trip for me, I've been sort of ground bound for a little while, obviously setting up Infonovus, and of course we got a new puppy called Scotch, and he's currently under quarantine because he has dog COVID, which is awesome. I've been in Singapore for a few weeks, but I'll be making my next trip to Texas in 4 weeks' time. I will be attending DCAC, and I'm looking forward to having a chat with Kirk there, as well as some of the speakers. This is a really cool event from what I've seen. They just did the first one in Ireland. It's a bit different to your typical kind of suit and tie data center convention. I'm really looking forward to that, and we'll have more updates to follow in the meantime. Other than that, I guess, Majula Singapore, and I will see you around.